What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on first take, they're going to be talking about some comments Tom Brady made in reference to Max Kellerman talking about him falling off the cliff once he hits 40 years old. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Hey, Max, the GOAT is listening. Tom Brady had this Instagram post yesterday, a picture of a radar gun showing TB12 throwing balls at 61 miles per hour, and the caption, "He's gonna fall off a cliff." You heard that one before?
I have.
All right, here's a little bit of context. Here are some notable quarterbacks and how hard they threw at the combine before entering the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, 60 miles per hour. Baker Mayfield at 61. Carson Wentz at 57. Cam at 56. And Dak at 54.
Look at that.
So you're trying to tell me right now, Tom Brady, was this year 19 for him, and he's 42 years old, or he'll be 42 when the season starts. He's throwing 61 miles an hour at this age, 61 miles an hour at age 42, year 19 in the NFL? You got to be kidding me. And all these guys here, they're not even in the NFL, or they weren't even in the NFL at this point, and they weren't able to throw 61 miles an hour. And I know over time your arm gets stronger once you get a little bit older, but to have doing what Tom Brady's doing, we are in uncharted waters. We are definitely in uncharted waters with what Tom Brady is doing. So let's continue.
Those are some pretty numbers right there. Will Kane joining us here in studio now.
I'm not a mathematician.
You're not?
No. I know you have a ingenious bar. Yeah. I don't know if you guys solve math problems there at the ingenious bar, but
we solve whatever you need.
Is 61 higher than 60?
Depends what radar gun you're using. They vary up to 3 to 4
in other words,
miles an hour.
the strongest arm.
All right,
Well,
Max, are you going to
older
retract
quarterbacks-
your statements
No,
now?
Absolutely not. In fact, Mike Tanier had this in Bleacher Report in January of this year. If you look into the numbers for Tom, first of all, the eyeball test tells you he's not the same. Secondly, if you look into the numbers, it verifies it. Highest interception total, lowest TD rate since 2013, lowest passer rating since 2014 in a year of record passing. Dinking and dunking compared not just to, he always kind of dinking and dunking. No, compared to the last 2 seasons, he's dinking and dunking. Completion and first down rates on 3rd and 4+, down from the last 2 seasons, down from his career, below league average. This is just what it is. Now, he is playing for 2 things have conspired to make it look as though he hasn't fallen off a cliff. 1, he's playing for the greatest coach who ever lived. And 2, and they've compensated with run game, etc. And 2, they've changed the rules in the NFL where you can't touch the quarterback. So I'll refer you to earlier in the season, when Kansas City, who was the linebacker who had him in his grasp, let Tom Brady walk into the end zone. That's how the Patriots won. You're not allowed to touch the quarterback anymore, favoring old quarterbacks. Tom Brady's still great under pressure. I never expected that to change. And I don't mean under pressure because those numbers are down too when he's actually facing pressure. But in big situations, Tom Brady, he still has the clutch gene and all those things, for sure. But he is much more of a game manager now than he's been at any point since he was a young guy. And by the way, to get a high reading on a radar gun, you can muscle it. That's why quarterbacks at Brady's age are not as accurate down the field anymore. That's why you overthrow receivers, because you're muscling it.
So just off first face value of what he has to say, using the eyeball test, using my eyeball. So the last time I saw Tom Brady, he was winning a Super Bowl. That's the last time I saw Tom Brady. He was winning a Super Bowl. He was holding the championship trophy. That's what the last time I saw what he was doing. And as far as throwing the ball, whether he's muscling it or whatever it takes to get to 61 miles an hour, he's doing it, and he's doing it very well. And as far as, Tom Brady, he has more protection. You can't hit the quarterback. Okay, so what about all the other quarterbacks? Tom Brady's not the only quarterback in the NFL. What about all the other quarterbacks? That means they're being untouched too. So that means they should have plenty of time to throw the ball and make the right decisions and go through the progressions and all that, just like Tom Brady, right? But they haven't been able to do it. And it doesn't matter what his stats are at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if he throws 5 interceptions a game. It doesn't matter if he fumbles the ball 2 or 3 times a game. What matters is, did he win the Super Bowl? Yes, he did. Did he win enough to make the playoffs? Yes, he did. Did he win enough to make it to the Super Bowl? Yes, he did. Did he win enough to win the Super Bowl? Again, yes, he did. So that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And it doesn't matter if he has the best coach. It doesn't matter if the rules are changed for him. It doesn't matter if he's muscling the ball. Whatever situation is, it's his team that he's on, and they're winning. It doesn't matter how it's done. He's winning. So if you want to make excuses for him, what about the excuse for everybody else? Because if you make an excuse for Tom Brady, then that makes it even worse for the guys that are younger than he is, and you can't get it done. So there's no way you can cut it to where it looks like, oh, well, Tom Brady, he just has the best coach ever, and he's muscling the ball, and, he's winning because it's easier for him. What was that say for everybody else then? There's nothing you can say on Tom Brady. There's nothing you can say. So let's continue.
What do you think about that?
Stephen A., you want me to take this, or you want to go?
I'll go first, Will, because I'm not going to be long with this. The fact of the matter is, Max Kellerman, all I have to say about is this. You did not say there would be a drop-off. You said he would fall off a cliff. That's what Tom Brady is replying to. That's what he's reacting to. Now, you did take back the word bum because you thought it was disrespectful and kids were watching. Fine. But you made the argument. You didn't sit up there and say he wouldn't be the same and leave it at that. You said he would fall off a cliff, which basically meant, you know what? He's not going to be anywhere near what he was. He's going to be a shell of himself and don't even bring Super Bowl championships into the equation. And since you've uttered those words, he's been to a Super Bowl each year. He's won 2 with 2 MVPs. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, let me step in there. So, again, it just doesn't make sense what Max is saying. Max is a master troller. He's a master troller. And if for what Tom Brady's doing, his numbers just slumped or he's not playing as well or whatever, but he can still make it to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row and win 2 out of those 3, but then other quarterbacks need to take note of what he's doing. They definitely need to take note of what he's doing, because if you're going to be the most accurate passer in the league or, throw the hardest ball or you have the best stats, but you can't make it to the Super Bowl and win it like Tom Brady, but then I don't need you. I don't need you. If Tom Brady is the worst rated quarterback in the league, but he can still manage to make it to the Super Bowl and win it 2 out of 3 years, 2 out of 3 years times, well, then I'll take that. Because, what does that mean for everybody else? What is Tom Brady doing that everybody else isn't doing? If his numbers are terrible, according to Max, but he's still able to go to the Super Bowl and win it. It just doesn't make sense. I must be missing something. So let's continue.
I think you stole the thunder there at the end, but it seems to be the only argument that needs to be made. Max, listen to me. I'm talking to you. I've sat across from you for going on 3 years now. We have a nice rapport. I don't know that I'd call it a friendship, but we definitely have some mutual respect. I know you place a high value on being right. You should be ashamed of yourself, Max. You should be very, very ashamed of yourself. You should go home and really give some long thought to this, because what Stephen A. said at the end is the end. You made that prediction in 2016, Max. Since that time, Tom Brady has been to 3 Super Bowls. He has won 2. And as Stephen A. points out, he's won 2 Super Bowl MVPs. There's nothing left to discuss. You are the guy. You are our buddy. We all have this buddy. You're sitting around, you're at a party, you're single at the time, so let's make that clear. And there's a beautiful, beautiful woman in the room, and everybody is astounded. And you're over there picking out the smallest of flaws on the Mona Lisa. You are over here looking through stats, doing your best to find things to explain away your take. You're talking about muscling a radar gun. I don't know what you're digging through, but I know what you're having to dig past. You're digging past 3 Super Bowls and 2 wins.
It was the lowest scoring.
And again, that's as bad as they can get from Max Kellerman for Tom Brady showing him up. Talk about he's going to fall off. He's not going to be doing anything. And the man goes to 3 Super Bowls in a row and win 2 out of those 3. It just doesn't make sense. Like I said, if Max Kellerman wants to talk about Tom Brady's stats are so bad, like I said, if his stats are so bad, but he can still make it to the Super Bowl and win it, what does that say about the guys with the top stats that can barely make the playoffs and can't win the Super Bowl? What does that say about the guys with the best stats but can't even make it to the Super Bowl and can't win it, but Tom Brady has all these terrible stats and go to Super Bowl and win it 2 years out of 3? What does that mean? What does that mean? And he's 42 years old. You're 19. We are in uncharted waters right here with Tom Brady. We are in uncharted waters. And Tom Brady is talking about he wants to go to year 45 of his life, which is year 23 in the NFL? So we are in uncharted waters, and I'm just enjoying the ride. So let's continue.
Super Bowl in the history of Super Bowls this year.
They passed it.
They couldn't get the offense going, and the reason they won is because they have a better coach than the other team. That has protected Tom Brady's fall. Now, Stephen A., I understand what you mean about the cliff. I said it would be like this, and it's been more like that. That is true. And I'm here to tell you that has something to do with Tom Brady, of course, and also a lot to do with rules changes. I had no way of predicting at the time that they would change the roughing the passer rules to the point where you can't touch the quarterback. And so.
But Max, the rules change for everybody. It's not like the NFL said, you know what, from this point on, you can't touch Tom Brady. If you touch Tom Brady, we're going to throw the flag. All the other quarterbacks, you can hit them, okay, but you can't touch Tom Brady. No, the rules are the same for everybody. So that makes it even worse that Patrick Mahomes can't be touched. Aaron Rodgers can't be touched. Andrew Luck can't be touched. All these other quarterbacks, Cam Newton can't be touched. All these other quarterbacks can't be touched. E2. And they still can't do what the 42-year-old old man in year 19 can't do. So there's no excuses because the rules are the same across the board. So let's continue.
That has also preserved him.